It's hard to explain stardom. Take the NFL. Luke Kuechly is a tremendous football player. So is Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor, Larry Donald and Carlos Dunlop. But they're not stars. They're just great players. J.J. Watt's a star. Richard Sherman's a star. Clay Matthews is a star. Troy Polamalu, he was a star. I'm be honest with you, I think Earl Thomas has a lot more range than Troy Polamalu. I think Seattle's secondary was better than that Pittsburgh one. Why is Troy a star? The look, the hair? Who knows? You can't explain it all the time. Who becomes a star? But the NFL is a lot like a presidential election. It's just a television show. And who becomes a star is hard to explain. Donald Trump won Nevada 3 straight. He is going to be the nominee for the conservatives. It is going to be Hillary against Donald Trump. That's hard to explain, right? He's big, he's loud, he's powerful, he's got good energy, he's got a hot wife, the arenas are packed. It's funny because none of my liberal friends can get Trump. But yet none of my conservative friends understood Obama. And they're actually very similar. Maybe not on policy, but they both became movements. Conservatives, I had a friend who was a conservative strategist. He didn't get Obama. He said, Hillary's more qualified, right? He's like a first-term senator. He's a community organizer. He became a movement. Donald Trump has become a movement. And here's where they're similar. Donald Trump has no substance. What is his plan? Do you remember what Barack Obama ran on? And I voted for him. Hope. Change. Remember the poster? If Bill Belichick went into a Super Bowl, Coach, what's the strategy? Hope. No, I mean the change. That's not really a policy. Oh, he had Obamacare he was talking about, but didn't that seem ridiculous on the heels of the Clintons trying it and bombing? What's Trump's strategy? Build a big wall. Does that sound any less ridiculous than Obamacare did, that had already been tried with the Clintons and massively failed? Trump and Obama are movements. Think about when you went to an Obama rally. It was people crying, right? Young people, women, and minority groups, people who never had power. You go to a Trump rally and they're crying. Older people, men, and people who used to have power. People are flummoxed on the left by Trump, just like people on the right were flummoxed by Obama. Stardom is hard to explain. But in both Obama and Trump, it has gone from an election to a movement. It didn't really make sense that a guy we didn't know, who was a community organizer, who'd never run a business, who'd never run a state, beat Hillary soundly. She was more qualified. It doesn't make any sense that a real estate mogul with no political acumen, who's inappropriate more often than not, is blowing everybody away. But why is J.J. Watt a star and Richard Sherman and Troy Polamalu and Clay Matthews, but Larry Donald, Earl Thomas, Luke Kuechly, and Cam Chancellor aren't? Who can predict who's a star and who's not a star? And when elections become movements, the other side never understands it. And what is a movement, Colin? A movement's energy and will and momentum and passage and staying on message. Obama stayed on hope. It's not a real strategy. Trump stays on wall. It's not a real strategy. It's just it's a thing. It's a construction project, which he's really good at. He builds stuff. Wall, wall, wall. That's all he talks about. Wall, wall. Well, he builds stuff. He's pretty good at building stuff. He's going to build a big wall. It sounds absurd. So, and I watch this entire process, and I watch how flummoxed the left is with Trump. It sounds all like my conservative friends with Obama 8 years ago. I don't get it. I don't understand it. What's to get? Energy, will, message, stay on it. At the time, liberals were mad. They were mad at the Bush years. They were pissed. And Obama was their missile to beat the conservatives. Now conservatives are pissed. For 8 years, Obama has owned 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And Trump is their missile head first into the Democrats. They're carrying their anger. Obama carried their anger and hope. Trump's carrying their anger and their hope. The side that's angriest going into a presidential election generally wins because they activate. More people vote for your side. Remember the turnout with Obama? People that never voted suddenly voted. You hearing that about Trump? People that have never voted are suddenly voting. The angrier side needs a carrier to their message and anger. It was Obama 8 years ago, hope and change. It's Trump now. Build that damn wall. So I'm in the middle, and I've got friends on both sides, and the message I'm hearing with Trump is what I heard 8 years ago with Obama. There aren't answers why J.J. Watt and Richard Sherman and Clay Matthews and Troy become television stars, and Luke Kuechly and Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor and Larry Donald and Carlos Dunlap are as good of players and don't. Who can explain it? Is it the message? Is it the will? Is it the looks? Is it the hair? Is it the personality? Is it the packed arenas? I don't know. I've been in TV 30 years. I can't explain it. If you'd have told me after the first Kardashian show they would be a 15-year mega empire, I'd have said, what? I remember when the show The Biggest Loser came on the air. I thought it was mean-spirited. Who's going to sit around and watch heavy-set people be often humiliated on TV? It felt mean to me. 15 years later, everybody that's ever been on that show is a millionaire. Who can explain it? Who can explain movements? Who can explain TV stars? But man, I'm telling you, when you sit in the middle, and I'm a financial conservative and a social liberal, when you sit in the middle and you hear both groups 8 years separated, it is largely the same confusion. Some stuff, movements, you can't explain. It just is.